Welcome to the Juggling Mind and Money podcast with Steve Rowe and Jessica Schlupp-Taylor. Steve Rowe is the founder of Lucent Financial Planning and an award-winning independent financial planner. He helps you to use your money and have a great life. Jess Schlupp-Taylor is a psychologist supporting people through change, challenges, and forks in the road of life. Together, they will help unblock the sludge in your mind, stopping you from achieving financial and psychological happiness.
Hello. Hello, Jess. Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Juggling Mind and Money. I'm Steve, founder of Lucent Financial Planning and Chartered Financial Planner, and this is Jess.
Yay!
Our resident psychologist who helps our clients with their mind to obtain the healthy head. In this podcast, messed that up, didn't I?
Almost as much as your squeaky chair.
I have got a squeaky chair and a squeaky voice like a puppet.
Good combo.
Anyway, in this podcast, we focus on trying to be happy or content.
Yeah, happy's big aim. Let's go content.
I'm well content. And money's an important part of that. But we got that bit wrapped up. And happiness or contentedness, that's quite long, isn't it?
Contentedness.
Multiple syllable words are hard to say.
With a squeaky voice.
That's right.
Unlike my husk.
When I did that, you should have said, that's the way to do it. But you didn't. And you missed that opportunity.
Sorry, but you did follow it up for me.
And that's where Jess comes in to help people with their needs. So, Jess, how's it going?
Very good, actually. I'm in a good place.
Have you that?
Yeah.
What's happened?
I had a birthday.
Did you?
Yeah.
How old are you now? 29?
I am now 29 plus 16.
29. I mean, I work with numbers every day, but that's complicated.
So can we get soft focus on the cameras, please? Need a bit more forgiving. Can't afford the Botox yet.
And before we go on, today is about greed and overspending. Now we're going to talk about my skincare regime. This morning, I had a face mask on.
Did you?
Yeah, you can touch my face if you want. It feels nice.
No.
Like well soft. I've been doing this all day. Listeners, I'm rubbing my fingers up my cheeks.
Slightly creepy, weird way.
It's like that Harry Enfield sketch in the remember the TV doctor.
It's a bit like the Dove from Above, and where they used to stroke their legs every time, like Ulrika Johnson. Oh.
Do you know what would be the greatest thing in the world?
What would be the greatest thing in the world?
If we had Paul Whitehouse on.
Yeah.
And the other fellow, I can't remember.
The Clark Case, is that the one who also goes fishing? Because I had to go fishing with him.
Yeah. Bob Mortimer. That's it. That'll be great if
I
they
like fishing. They don't need to come to us. Can we go to them and record it
Absolutely.
from the
What a
fishing
fishing
lane?
bank
Let's do it.
with a swan. Perhaps. Anyway, we've had a review as well as Jessica. We've had 250. Now, I thought it was a million, but in fact, it was
Not yet.
250.
Don't be greedy.
No, podcast downloads in the first month.
I'll take 250.
That's well good, isn't it?
I think that's all right.
And obviously some might be the same because once you listen, you cannot stop.
Clearly addicted
Right. And there's multiple episodes.
to get your teeth into.
But that means, a lot of people are listening to us.
Yeah, they clearly have a lot to do with their day and prioritise for Steve and Jess. Juggling Mind and Money is up there.
That's it. It made me feel a bit
Warm and cuddly.
nice.
Bit loved. We'll take that.
Anyway, we've got a review. 5 stars. Bush, 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 bush.
That is pretty lovely. Did that also make us feel warm and cuddly?
It did. And it's from someone called Martin Say-So, who I expect that is not their real name.
But if it is, Say-So's a cool name.
It is. And he or she said, I love this show. It's relaxing and humorous with great banter between the presenters, that'd be me and thee. But also, there's really good information on difficult topics. Very useful.
I don't know Martin Say-So. I don't even know if it's somebody's name, so it's not my mum. Because she would have written Jessie's mum.
Your mum's given them quite prolific feedback, actually, hasn't she?
She has. She's useful.
Good for her.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Jess's mum. I'd like to meet you one day. Anyway, now we're on to the next part of the show.
Diagnose Steve. There's obviously something wrong with him. Jess delves into what it could be.
So, Jess, I just want so many things.
No, hold on.
What?
You haven't even announced what we're doing. We're doing Diagnose Steve. Or did the jingle do that?
The jingle did in.
Sorry, jingle.
Anyway, on to our important part, because we've got to maintain structure. That's been our feedback, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop going off topic and talking crap.
That's right. And swearing. We're going to get a bad show rating now.
I haven't swore yet.
You said the C word.
Isn't that a card game that you can play in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's not a swear word.
You was talking gaming. Okay.
Well, we are talking about greed, so I'm bringing gambling into it.
I just want so many things.
Okay.
I want to be able to not have to work. Why should I have to do that? I want all the things that money can buy. I want the best handbags, the best clothes. I want the bling, the watches, the necklaces. I want fast food, fast cars, fast women, whatever I want. And I want it fast. I don't see why I should have to wait. Why can't I have what other people have? Why?
Oh, didn't sound very happy there, Steve.
I just want it all and I want it now.
Want it all and you want it now. Sounds a little bit greedy to me.
It is a bit greedy.
And is that our topic for episode 7?
That is our topic.
Greed and money.
Greed and money. So we want it all. I mean, you know, I'm a fat man. I want to eat food. I'm greedy. So this is bad news when it comes to money.
It's quite a natural human trait, though, is greed. It's helped us survive. And actually, since things have been plentiful, that's very short supply. So in terms of evolution, greed has been, up until not so recently, a really, really positive attribute to have.
I love evolutionary psychology. Gets me going.
I don't do it enough, but I need to do a bit more into it. But yes, in terms of evolution, greed is a positive trait, and it's what has allowed us to survive.
It is, because we try to get it off everyone.
Yeah, it's also allowed us to do some really awful things as well.
Absolutely horrendous things. But in modern society, it's not really needed now, is it?
It's not very helpful. I like to think of lots of things, helpful or unhelpful. Greed, generally unhelpful.
You do have a very nice way of putting things without judgment, don't you?
Until I've had a few pints. And then I get on my soapbox.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners out there, we are planning a late night version of this podcast
Absolutely not.
where Jess has had a few pints.
Jess does not drink for this exact reason anymore.
Jess has had a few.
Imagine if I was a TV celebrity, like one of those TV psychologist people, and then, you know, like in my world of greed, where BBC pays me more than they paid Gary Lineker, all that sort of stuff. But then they'd capture me in a pub, ranting and raving, and then I wouldn't keep my job for long.
So I've been to the pub with you, and it is a nice experience. You drink incredibly slowly. I think mainly because you're talking so much, which makes the person with you drink a lot more because they've got nothing else to do except for listen and laugh.
Yeah, I do drink slowly, and I don't drink much. Right, let's get back to greed, because we've gone off on one of our tangents.
Yeah,
Jess's fault.
No, that was my fault. So, how does it arise? We all need money.
Well, we've already established greed arises because of evolution. That's sort of human nature. How else does it arise?
You want to keep up with the Joneses. For some people, oh, they've got that. Oh, I deserve that as well.
I live in quite an affluent area. There's quite a lot of keeping up with the Joneses that happens.
And does it make you happy when you've got what the Joneses have got?
I think if we judge our life on comparing ourselves to others, that's one of my favourite sayings. I have a few, and one of them is comparison is the loss of joy. And I think we'd all be a lot happier if we could drop that comparison. But sadly, in this day and age, There are so many opportunities daily to compare yourself. It is an absolute minefield. So unless you build yourself a resilience, listen to this podcast, wait till the end to hear how we can overcome some of the stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
It's difficult not to come a cropper.
So it is, isn't it? Like going on Facebook or LinkedIn, you see what people are up to.
Do ski. Sorry, this is for people that aren't watching this right now. It is February, which is peak ski time.
Is it?
Yeah. So do the ski, and all the families are putting their photos of skiing.
See, I just think of yogurt when people say that.
To ski. It would be a good yogurt advert.
Mm-hmm. Anyone from Ski Yogurts, we're available for sponsorship.
So I love that you jumped to envy, because keeping up with the Joneses is a bit of envy. Being envious of what other people have and wanting what they have. And often getting it when you don't have the means or the ability to pay for it.
Yeah.
So what else have we got?
Sometimes you're a bit discontent, can't you? Can't you be? And then you think, oh, I'll get all this stuff and that'll make me happy.
Yeah, I think you look for a quick fix. So actually, I'm not happy. What could I do that could potentially make me happy? I know, I'll buy something or I'll do something that gives me more. When actually the hole inside us, that feeling of discontentment, doesn't come from the material things.
It might work for a bit, like a couple of days.
It's usually about 10 seconds.
Is it 10 seconds?
Not very often. And in fact, you get the buzz from filling up the shopping basket a lot of the time.
Oh, we talked about this in our last episode.
Oh, yeah. But okay, let's go. Keep going.
Unmet.
Keep going.
Keep going. I want more.
Oh, I'm cool.
Greedy.
Come on.
For learning. Unmet emotional needs. So sometimes things have just all gone wrong, haven't they?
Well, sometimes things go wrong, and often because we don't necessarily take time to sit and tune in with ourselves. And I don't want to come across as some airy-fairy, fluffy psychologist there that encourages you all to and become one with yourself. But as we've just said, quite often we have a negative feeling, we're uncomfortable about something, we're dissatisfied with our life, and instead of looking a bit deeper as to why that dissatisfaction happens, we jump in to, you know what, let's find a quick fix. And there's nothing quicker than banging something on the credit card or spending a bit of money. Yeah. And lo and behold, 10 seconds or 3 days later, or whatever it is, that hole is still there, as is the negative on your bank balance.
You're thinking about something else, what you want next.
Yeah. And it can come from having a lack of, being brought up with a lack of things. And so therefore you want things, you want the better life, you want, you've always not necessarily been envious, but you've looked at things that you really wanted. So therefore I want to make those things happen. And because of the financial world and how it's come about, it makes it quite easy for us to be greedy.
So you've lived in impoverished circumstances, and you're looking for a way out of that, even though you've got out of it already, perhaps.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Finally, insecurity.
Yes.
Get stuff to make ourselves look better.
Lack of confidence, insecurity, not feeling great about ourselves. And so then we rely on materialistic things to represent or back up our image or the perception that we have of ourselves, as opposed to being able to be true to who we are, be our authentic self, and rely on ourselves to represent ourselves.
Yeah.
What car do you drive, Steve? It's not a Porsche, is it? Or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? No, you're not.
You know what I drive.
You're not using it to make up for anything then.
It's a Golf, everyone. An e-Golf, because I'm a hippie. Save the world.
Yeah.
And I harvest the sun from my roof.
So you're not using your car to say anything more about you?
No.
To
There's not
big
much to
yourself.
say about me, is there really?
There's a lot. I love a Golf though. Golf is a good choice of car.
So let's go through some of the bad effects of greed.
There's a lot.
Like, I should be greedy for a new chair that doesn't squeak.
If you'd have used your common sense, you'd have swapped it before we started.
Why?
It says squeaking a lot.
Getting told off there.
It's a good job the squeak is further away from the microphone though. Just do a quick squeak and see if it gets picked up. Microphone's not picking it up. You might be all right, listeners. You might avoid the chair squeak.
Just sounds a bit.
So, what are the effects of greed financially?
The effects of greed. Well, if you just go out spending your money all the time, you're going to end up skint, aren't you? Pretty obvious.
Yes.
Poverty. That is the effect of greed. One of them.
And then that only exacerbates the envy, the discontentment, not feeling good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious circle, isn't it, of nastiness. One of those things that you then do to carry on is get into debt.
Borrow more.
You borrow more money so you can buy the stuff you don't like that makes you feel good for a few short seconds. And then that's making your financial situation even worse.
Heaps on the pressure, heaps on the stress.
Oh, it's pretty.
The weight of the world on my shoulders. All because I wanted to supposedly improve myself or my situation, but in a way that's not helpful.
It's not helpful, listeners.
It's okay to want to improve your situation and take actions to do that.
That's good.
There's a difference between being greedy and making efforts to be more successful or to improve your situation.
That's it. This is a good one.
Oh, go on then.
Bad negative effect of greed. Loss of human capital.
Oh, Steve, that sounds very professional. Tell me more.
So human capital is you've got normal capital, which is like money in the bank, in it, right?
Yes.
Human capital is your ability to earn money or your ability to use resources around you, like people. They're not a resource. That sounds terrible. But the people you hang around with affect what you might earn in future because of the connections you have through them. If they recognise you as being quite a greedy person, they might not want to hang around with you anymore.
Or if they, it depends on what sort of people they are, because they could take advantage of that, couldn't they?
They could, yeah.
Because then that leads you to that susceptibility to fraud.
That's their sort of greediness as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what people that might
loss of human capital.
buy you around when you're at the pub.
Yeah, perhaps you will lose those friendship networks and things like that if you become either the person that doesn't buy rounds or perhaps. Yeah, okay.
So that's bad. Another one, unhealthy money habits. So if you're greedy, you want more money, so you try and do it quickly.
Yes.
By gambling, having a bet.
It doesn't mean that gamblers and bettors are all greedy.
No, it doesn't, but you might resort to that.
But you could resort to that in order to try to make up for perhaps some of the losses that you've had. You take more risks than you would do if you were more realistic about earning potential or how to get money in a more helpful, healthy way.
When you're playing craps.
When you're playing crap.
In Las Vegas. That's it. Entitlement. Greedy people can often feel entitled to other people's money, so they help themselves, sometimes ending up nicking it.
That's not good.
Or defrauding people. Which you mean?
Yeah. I wonder if the chicken and the egg, whether greed causes entitlement or entitlement causes greed. I think possibly a mixture of the two.
Probably, yeah, both at the same time. There's always multiple things, isn't there?
And if you're entitled, people are not pleasant to hang around with, so you're not going to generally get a good supportive network if you're entitled. Even though people are attracted to confidence, but there is a big difference between confidence and entitlement.
Why are people attracted to confidence?
Security. It gives them a sense of security. It gives them a sense of being safety. People that are confident are more pleasant to be around. There is security in that. It's a safety blanket. It's like being with a warm hug. I know that there's lots of situations where I can get quite anxious, and to have somebody confident that says, "I've got this, Jess." I'm like, brilliant. I can relax. I can feel at ease because I can trust somebody to do that.
That's a good point. They're also annoying sometimes, aren't they?
Confident people. Yeah. Arrogant people are annoying.
That's a difference.
That's a difference. Arrogant people, not so fun. Confident people, I can relax around you.
If you're overspending money, So if you're greedy for more money,
Yeah, more.
you want more.
Like you go to Las Vegas
Yeah.
and you go with $100 and you suddenly win big. Pull the lever, like ding, all the fireworks stuff goes off, and they win, let's say, $100,000. Like, yay! I got $100,000. Woo!
That was good. I think you'd be more excited than that.
Yeah.
Yay!
The Jess, because I am Captain Sensible. If I was in Top Gear, I'd be James May. I would be like, oh, that's amazing, $100,000. I can do X, Y, Z with that. I'll bank that. Speak to Steve. He'll tell me how to invest it so I can get rich off my assets and be a little bit greedy. But it's not greedy, it's just sensible. Or the greedy person would go, you know what? I won that once. If I try the other machine or if I try the other table, then I could get it again and again. Whereas actually, the first time was down to luck. Statistically, very unlikely it'd happen again. And before you know it, they haven't even got the $100 that they entered the club with.
And they go home with their leaflet saying, when the fun stops.
Yeah.
That may or may not be a true story. Okay. That was my first night in Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, when I was 22.
I've never been.
It's brilliant.
I don't think I'm a Las Vegas person.
So people want lots of money. They often overspend as well, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Because you get on this thing where, oh, I want to do that, and then you get used to it. Is it hedonistic or hedonic? I never remember. Treadmill, where you get, or just, I'll go to that gym because it's a bit better. Or it's just 20 quid a month.
Just always wanting more.
And then you go to the next one, and then you need more money, and you just get used to it over time.
I think what greed does, one of the impacts that we haven't mentioned with greed is that it makes us really quite miserable. Greedy people generally are not content with their life. They don't sit back on an evening and go, you know what, it's been a good day. Good things have happened. I've spoken to good people, had good conversations, quality. So like it's, how can I make it better tomorrow? Or what can I do more today? What else can I get? What else do I deserve? What more am I looking for? And greed does stop us from being able to enjoy what we have. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. Nothing. But there's definitely something wrong with not enjoying what we've got.
There is, when is enough enough?
I think what you've got should always be enough. There's nothing wrong with improving that situation, but there should be something to be able to look around and appreciate what you've got. Be grateful for the privileges, the situation, the small things in life.
Jess, every now and then, well, every time we speak, you come out with these little snippets, and I think, it's quite privileged to know you.
Yeah, but I do talk a lot of rubbish a lot of the times.
I mean, there's a lot of other words, yeah, that I'll filter out, like some sort of AI recorder.
Yeah.
Filter out.
Just keep the good stuff.
Jess's gems, I call them.
Oh, Jess's gems.
It's nice, isn't it? Perhaps we could start.
I was going to make a dirty joke, but that would bring us down the rating, so I'm not going to do that.
No, I did have to get one erased from last episode. So let's go to a break. A message from our sponsors.
Yay!
And now a message from our sponsors. Jess, Steve, there are no sponsors. This is embarrassing.
So how do we escape this cycle, Jess? This cycle of avarice, of greed. How do we do it?
I like the idea of becoming aware is always number one. I think I've said that before. Like the awareness, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. Be aware, Be self-aware. Be aware of what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
Those are two very good big things. If you have your needs being met, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you don't know what that is, go and Google it. But
it's a pyramid.
It is a pyramid. But in nowhere in Maslow's hierarchy of needs does it say flash car, 67,000-inch TV, and all that sort of jazz. It's, what drives people to go have 1 billion in the bank and want it to make 2. But it's establishing what you need and what you want.
So you're talking about some quite intense self-reflection there then, aren't we? Because you just get on and do what you want to do most of the time and not think about it.
There is some serious self-reflection, and I would say that if people are serious about it and they've acknowledged that perhaps greed is something that comes quite naturally to them and is quite a powerful force, that doesn't make them a bad person. Being greedy doesn't make you a bad person. It does tend to be a bit of a trait that some people demonstrate and comes more naturally or is more powerful than others. So once you've identified it, and you've also identified want and need, I think it's quite good to get in touch with yourself. So those feelings that you have, the discontentment, the unhappiness, what am I missing in life? Again, the answer is not going to be fixed by a fast car or a bigger house. You either work with a specialist like me, or you can do some self-work, do a bit of journaling, bit of thought. There's loads of stuff on YouTube, but basically identifying where those feelings genuinely come from, and truly what is going to fix those feelings or improve those feelings rather than be a quick fix. Be prepared to put in the legwork.
Yeah.
So being greedy, don't be lazy. You want to fix being greedy, you actually have to put in the legwork. It's not something that you can do a quick 360 on and suddenly decide you're not going to be that way.
No. So when we're sitting down thinking, I really want such and such car.
Yeah.
Is that where we go, why?
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 Love that question.
You shouldn't say why to other people, should you? You should say, what is it about that?
I don't know. I often say why to people.
I've heard it's aggressive.
I'm all right with that. All right with challenge, a bit of conflict.
Anyway, you should ask yourself.
You should ask yourself, why?
Why do I want that? And perhaps once you think, like, do a thought process. A thought process.
Just for the listeners, Steve was doing a little dance around thought dance. Yeah.
Like imagining when you've got it, how it would make you feel.
Bit of visualization.
Yeah.
Now, you can visualize first getting it, like having the keys to the Aston Martin. Woo, woo. Wow, it's everything. What about 12 months down the line, or
a
month down the line, or 6 months down the line, when actually you don't want to park it in Tesco's and you can't drive it anywhere for fear that someone's going to do it, or you keep getting hulked at on the road or whatever it is.
Or in my case, not being able to get out of it because it's so low and I'm so large. You just can't get above ankle height easily.
But a golf at 6'5", 6'5"?
4.5, ladies and gentlemen.
6'4.5". That's golf.
Get out of it today. Kate gave me a lift. Couldn't get out of it.
What car is it?
It's white car.
White car.
I don't mean.
Steve's knowledge of cars, ladies and gentlemen. It was a white low car.
Yeah. And she didn't have a hoist for me, which I thought was a bit rude. Anyway, so we're imagining things into the future, what it might feel like. Will it make me any better? If you've just bought something,
yeah,
and then you think you're immediately on to the next thing, that would be a good point as well to ask why, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And actually, I'm sure there's lots of people at home that are sitting there listening or watching this and thinking, I do have a clothes rail of clothes in my wardrobe with tags on still that I haven't touched, got all excited about buying, and then haven't used it. Or gadgets and gazmos, the snowboard or the skis or the bike or the, I don't know. The Ninja Air Fryer, I've just bought one of those though. That did make me happy.
I got one of them for Christmas. They are awesome.
That's made me very happy.
I had my niece over on Monday night just to cook a dinner in it. She wasn't impressed.
I was going to say, you don't need a niece to to use your air fryer. You have permission to use it without.
Yeah, I've used it for myself, but you can't pull it out and go and shake your chicken and go, look at that.
It's very good. So yeah, we're sitting down, we're thinking, asking ourselves why.
Yeah, and then perhaps that might be enough, mightn't it? You might be able to go, okay, actually, I need this.
Yeah, that's not theory. It's the 24-hour rule.
24 hours.
It's not my theory. Somebody else's. There's probably a book on it. But it is, don't take action. Don't buy something until you thought about it for 24 hours. And if you still need it 24 hours later, that's okay. I don't think that covers off all greed. That covers off instant satisfaction. And actually, in this day and age, that takes us on to instant gratification, which it is a bit like greed, but it's not really greed. So
That's nicer if you wait, though, isn't it?
but then let's talk about greed and financial planning, because you must have people that come through and you give them realistic predictions about how you can keep their money safe, secure, and good return so that they can live the life that they want to.
Well, this is all about deferred gratification.
Yes.
Have you heard of the marshmallow test?
With the kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is great. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard of the marshmallow test, Jess is pretending to eat marshmallows now.
Yeah.
Right. That is what the noises are. All right. I think it was in the 60s.
So yeah, they've done it for many, many, many.
But they've tracked them across the rest of their life. So they put a kid in a room and they put a marshmallow in front of them and said, if you look at that and don't eat it for 5 minutes, or might have been a minute,
yeah,
we'll give you 2. So most of the kids naturally ate the marshmallow.
Yeah, well, the adult did leave the room after they said that. Yeah. Just going out. Yeah. Back in a minute.
In there. And then they just nickled in them. It's a bit naughty. Right. So they ate it. The ones that didn't waited and got 2 marshmallows. The results weren't that they were just more obese later in life. It was that they're actually wealthier, which is interesting, isn't it?
Well, that makes better decisions around money.
Yeah. So if you delay getting something, that means you can earn more money in your investments potentially, and then you can get it later. Now, interestingly, our clients, the ones you think are wealthiest from outside, absolutely are not.
Because they're the ones that show their money?
Quite a lot of the time, they're in more debt. So it's all for show. The wealthiest, they spend the least. Well, I wouldn't say they spend the least. They just have to be content with what they've got.
Content with what they've got.
They don't really want anything else.
But it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to say, am I getting the best deal? What are the best things out there? But usually if somebody's offering you something that's too good to be true, then if you're greedy, you're more likely to fall for stuff like that, to go and take those higher risks and then come a cropper and your bank account will go down and down and down. So in terms of financial planning, this isn't just for people before they reach retirement. This is through to retirement. It's looking at investments. It's looking at buying assets rather than liabilities.
That is it. Assets, not liabilities.
And looking at patterns rather than individuals. How many people go, oh, this person, I've read about them. This is what they did. If I do what they did, I'm going to get it. But what they don't realise is that there's a lot of luck around that. And trying to emulate one person and expect to get the same results is really not going to happen. Following the patterns, being Captain Sensible is a lot better strategy when it comes to money. Would you say, Mr. Money Man?
We say accrue assets, not liabilities. So if someone was buying this podcast show, they buy you as the asset and reject me as the liability, wouldn't they?
That's not true. We're both assets. We both add value from day one.
So having a financial plan, really important to get the stuff you really want, but it's long-term thinking rather than getting yourself in a hole, just snapping everything up.
Yeah, the stuff that matters.
Yeah.
We want to make sure people have got time, space and money to have the things that really matter, that fill that hole within them, that make them feel full and be able to experience the stuff that makes you glow and excited and just fills your fuel tank rather than empties your bank balance.
That's it.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is really good, but doesn't work so well in the days of EV cars. You got a tank.
Fuel battery.
Yeah. Well, that is a really important point, actually. Time.
Ooh.
Time with the people you love. That is what's going to make you most content.
That is very important. There's a lot of greed in this world. And I think if people were to walk through an A&E room or they were to walk through places that really matter, then you'd realise that it's not, nobody died and said, oh, wish I'd have got that super fast car.
They think, I wish I had 10 more minutes with them. Whatever it is. Really important. So let's be greedy about the time we have with our loved ones.
Let's be greedy.
Okay.
I'm going to numb bum.
I am too.
Are you?
What? It's because we're not moving as much.
No, because I'm trying to sit down so that, my microphone stays with me. But
this is due to the poor sound recording on previous episodes. We've been
we've been rigid.
Yeah, a lot more attentive.
And now our bums have gone
to our position. So we want to have a plan. We want to educate ourselves on how money works, and what we really want and what's most important, which, as we've just discussed, is time with the people we love and doing the things we love to do rather than getting stuff.
It's taking time to make your financial decisions, isn't it? And it's taking time to find out about yourself and about the things that really, really matter. Now, it could be that you come to the conclusion after analysing yourself that actually it is, I don't know, the BMX from 1950 that makes you super happy, and putting it on your wall is what fills your fuel tank up. And if that's the case, that is okay. By all means, buy the, I don't know, £4,000 BMX and stick it on your wall if it makes you smile every day. Because for some people, it does.
Mate, can I just say, 1984 Christmas,
Yeah,
BMX night burner with mushroom grips and stud nuts.
see?
That did make me well happy.
Yeah. So if somebody offered you one now for quite a lot more money, you probably have to do a serious think, and that might not be greed. I think that's what you can probably say, is if you take the time, do a bit of self-analysis, do a bit of research. Why am I buying this? Why am I behaving this way? Why do I want to hit the yes button or whatever it is?
Yeah. Yeah. And then ultimately be happy with what you've got. You're in a good position. Most people in this country.
Yeah, we are very privileged. A lot of people.
And then you can do shoulder wobbles like Jess is now.
That's because I'm happy.
Because
in my head.
Now.
It's not playing anywhere other than in my head.
No. Well, that's the only place you do need it. So now to the next section, everyone's favourite section of the show, psychology.
Oh no.
And now for psychology, where Jess and Steve review types of sock and how your socks affect your mood.
I failed.
Now, Jess, you've let everyone down. You've let
myself down. I've really let myself down.
You haven't let yourself down, but I do know what you've got on. Come on, get them up.
I can't.
No.
Right, I just need to go back about 40 years in my life and seeing my mum. Mum's got a few times, but seeing my mum with pop socks on and just thinking that they are the most unattractive, unsexy, hideous invention in the history of mankind.
What, your mum's listening to this?
I know, but we roll the clock forward to 2025 and I'm wearing... I can't show you the top of my leg because I'd be too embarrassed. But literally I'm wearing pop socks. And I do feel like that's a new low for me.
But...
they're very sensible.
Yeah, which makes you feel good, right? Does it?
Well, they're comfy and sensible. But... they're so ugly. Like, not when you're walking round, not when people see me.
But the ends of them are.
Well, perhaps if I knew I was getting up to something later, then I wouldn't be.
Please.
I wouldn't be. Oh my gosh, I would not be wearing them.
I've got a seaside view on mine.
Oh, you've done well. You also got holes in the holes in the bottom.
Well, probably.
You've managed to get it in front of the camera.
I can't really get it round.
I think for this podcast, you're going to have to increase your level of flexibility, Steve.
Well, I do need to start some yoga because I'm in my late 40s. And if you don't get flexi now, you never will.
Although somebody gave you some socks. Oh, I meant to bring them in. Failed. Next time.
Anyway, when I put these socks on, I do feel nice because they've got seagulls on. As everyone knows, I like birds, right?
Oh, you do like birds? Well, I like the sea. See, the sea would be one nice.
And just looking at the seas, naturally relaxing, isn't it? Yeah, like that exhalation.
The sea is my safe place.
Was that due to the stench of my feet? What's it thinking of?
Fresh air, now you've moved away. No, just think of the sea. It's my safe place. It's my happy place.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So that's it for this week, everybody. We hope you're enjoying Psychology. This is the favourite part of the show. Everybody mentions it. And we would like, if you can, for you to send in some socks you'd like us to wear.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. You can send them to Lucent Financial Planning, 1B The Exchange, 20A Poplar Road, Solihull, B913AB.
I'm glad you didn't go there.
I'm like a Blue Peter is presenter there, aren't I?
That was smooth.
Brilliant. Right? So next time we're going to have another guest, I think.
Oh, excellent.
Better ask them, hadn't I?
That would be a good idea.
I did agree a few weeks ago. But we're going to have another guest. And we're excited to see them and talk with them.
You can't even say who it is because you haven't confirmed it with them yet.
Well, I've got two that could.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
Oh, yeah. A lot of preparation in this show. Thanks ever so much for listening, everybody. We'd really love it if you gave us a review. We want to make it to 500 downloads. 500
downloads
on our podcast. Yay! Because it makes everyone happy.
Tell your friends, and even just tell your friends to set Alexa up to play the podcast whilst they're out. Even if they don't like it, you can set it up to play whilst you're out. And then we still get the download. Woo!
Did have one review from my colleague Hannah. She said, I've listened to that on the way in. Get to the point, Steve. I was like, Hannah, that is the point.
Some people have said it's a bit slow, but some,
That's us.
Yeah, not the speediest.
Anyway, thanks for listening. See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.